Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and it's no secret that one of my goals in life is to help people, specifically aspiring artists, achieve their creative ambitions. And to do that, I always try to look for the levers that can be pulled, metaphorically, that have the most impact, right? And very recently, something kind of came back up to the surface that was just an aha moment for me of a huge lever. You know, it's funny how, like, oftentimes, you know something, you talk about something, but you just never hone in on exactly the impact of it into a specific thing until a while down the line. And that, for me, is the idea of changing your should into a must. You know, I've talked about it before. I remember being on my friend Ken Knapsack's show, the Good People Association, back when that was around, and us talking about all the should meetings people have, like, oh, we should do this, we should do this. But nothing ever comes from it, right? It's like, we should do this, but it doesn't happen. And, the reason why this, for some reason, like, stuck out to me and was at the forefront was I took a free Tony Robbins seminar. He did a free seminar virtually last week, and, I recommended it to other people, but I'm someone who likes to walk the walk, and I took it myself, right? Why wouldn't I? It's free, and Tony's regarded, in very positive ways. And not that I agree with Tony Robbins about everything, but overall there is a net positive to, the things that he teaches. So for me, I took it, and this idea of once, he talks about it in terms of breaking patterns and things like that. And when you change your should into a must, you change your behavior, right? That's the crux of the whole thing. And so for me, the single biggest question now for myself and upon others is, like, how to change that should into a must. So that way they change. Because it's interesting to me, there's many people that I talk to, and they're stuck in these patterns. They're unwilling to break it no matter what you tell them. And, one of the things that's always been part of my philosophy is, listen, I don't care if they take my advice or somebody else's. But if they're literally just complaining about the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and not changing a single thing, then that's literally not going to help them, right? And yet, why is it that they haven't changed that pattern? Because it hasn't gotten to the point for them where they know they should change, right? Often, like, that's what's crazy to me. You talk to most people, they know what they should do in life. Like, oh, I should exercise, I should eat better, right? Like, just the two of the most basic things. I should sleep more, and yet people don't for various reasons, right? And whatever that reason is, you have to get to that crux. There's a great J.K. Rowling quote, and I know she can be problematic, but I think the quote is still good, where, when I hit rock bottom, that was great foundation upon which to build my life. And that's an interesting way to look at it, because yes, quite frankly, that is, right? And, when people do hit rock bottom, change occurs, because that's the moment of should changes into a must. And I think in many ways, it'd be beyond this episode to really drive at, like, what that is for you. But I think reflecting on that, I like people that I talk to, like, they'll say, I need to make more money on the side. And it's like, well, until you really need to, you don't. Or like, I know I need to get back to writing. And it's like, well, it's not a true need for you. And that's why I haven't. And so that's what prevents us, is we think we need to be doing something, but they're really shoulds, not must. When, it's like that, when like when your back's against the wall, you do something about it, or you fold, and that's not good. But the real thing of it, how do you change your should into a must in the day-to-day? Ideally, before like things are so dire, then really that you have to, like, it is a must. And it's fascinating for me because I look at it in that sense. Like for me, I recently filmed my second feature film in Colombia, and many people had criticisms of that simply because of the state of the world. And for me, that was just a must. And quite literally, I'm still trying to figure out like how that is, right? How it just, and maybe it is a Seth Godin thing, as he talks about, is like you just gotta, once you make an identification, then that's it. You've eliminated 10,000 choices with one choice. He says like, hey, if you're like, oh, I need to make more content for YouTube, then that's going to be a daily battle. Do I feel like making content for YouTube or do I not? As opposed to like, if you just make the choice of like, I am going to be a YouTuber, then the rest of it, the choice is eliminated. You've already made the choice. Now it's time to act upon the choice, right? And maybe that has something to do with it, because I had made the little choice a long time ago. I will make my second movie. It will be filmed in Colombia, and it will be, in, at the time, 2021. Like that was it. There was it was by hell or high water, it was getting done. And I wasn't blind to anything, certainly like COVID was still prevalent and we had to like talk about that. But and through no fault of their own, maybe people were like, do you have a backup plan if someone gets COVID? And, arrogantly, my thing was like, no one's going to get COVID. And no one did. And it's not because I thought of it in that way, and it's ultimate, if someone ultimately got COVID, I just trust my ability to problem solve and figure things out. And we would have done something, right? Because we would have had to. That's an example of like, okay, so if you're ready to go, I mean, there's plenty of examples that could have just ruined this movie, right? But when those issues and hurdles came up, because I had made the decision that I was going to make this movie, those shoulds of like, okay, we should address this, they became musts. And we did address those. And I'm really like proud of the team and what we put together, because quite frankly, it's a miracle what we pulled off, but that's because like we all just had that mentality of like, we're going for it. And yeah, I really think it's like one of the most single powerful questions you can really ask yourself. And I want you to reflect upon that. I know I've talked circles around it and haven't really defined it. And I'm going to, that's one of the things that I'm working on is I'm going to really try to hone in on that of like, how does it work for me? And how can I also instill that or pass that along to others? And maybe just, it might be inspiration enough just to hear it from somebody else. Like, people thought the 4-minute mile was impossible until the first person does it. And then all of a sudden, people are breaking the 4-minute mile because they see that it's possible, right? And I think that's a component of it. But yeah, this is something that's going to be top of mind for me in the things that I do moving forward. How to change that should into a must. Because I think it's such a powerful question. It's a lever that if you can pull, meaning you can figure out an answer for people, then damn, you can really help people, right? Or help yourself, if you can figure that out for you. So, take some time to really reflect on that It's not an easy question. In fact, do me a favor, comment down below or hit me up on social media with how you're interpreting the question, and maybe give an example of your life of an instance where your should became a must and you made a positive change. I'd be curious to know that. Likewise, if you would like some more direct interaction, well, that's what my Patreon page is for. Patreon.com/PhilSvitek. It's an opportunity for us to interact on a deeper level if you would like that. Likewise, one of the reasons I can talk so confidently about X, Y, and Z is because I'm out there doing it. I'm out there writing books, making movies, working with artists, helping them, and stuff like that. And so it would mean the world to me if you checked out some of the stuff I have created already. My book, my movie, it's all in the description box below, and so forth. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time.